Has it sunk in yet?
It's sinking in. I'm not sure it's there all the way, but I think tonight will be really special. Now that I'm not in the car as often and have been removed a little bit, I've allowed myself to learn how to let it in and enjoy the moment. Obviously, when you're on the grind full time, it's always about next weekend, and I've realized that those opportunities are spaced out a little further, and I should really enjoy the moments, and I will tonight.
What's the defining legacy of before you?
And we were at it a while. It's hard to pick one, but I just felt like we were able to adapt to an ever-changing environment, and I feel like our relationship and the trust and respect we had for one another gave us that ability to stay fluid and adjust to rules packages, to adjust to the way points championships were determined. So that flexibility, I think, ultimately helped us the most.
NASCAR tried to stop you along the way, though. I mean, how many changes could they do to try to deny you guys winning a championship, and you kept fighting?
Yeah, I can recall a few phone calls from Brian France, and even Mike Kelton, saying, hey, we're really proud of what you've done. And this isn't directed at you, but we're changing the rules, or we're changing the format. I'm like, wait a second, what? You just did. But I get it. And I don't think it was, I truly believe it wasn't coming after us. It was just an ever-evolving sport and on and on. But as they continue to change the game, we looked at that as an opportunity to be the first to figure it out and try to win again.
Jim, you mentioned that flexibility. I'm curious, at the peak of your guys' success, what did you feel like separated you guys from the competition? Was it just being able to adapt, or were there other things happening behind the scenes that you felt like put you and Chad and the 48 team ahead of the guys?
We were just a few steps ahead. Chad was just tireless with his development of our race cars. We would test nonstop, back before there were testing rules. We were just always on the road, test. And I was open to it. I was in a great place in life and could make all the time available to do it. And we got into this practice to where he wouldn't even tell me what he was doing to the car. Occasionally he'd said, hey, tiptoe into this one. Other times he's like, no, this is going to be good. And he just had this stuff kind of waiting. And at times we had so much stockpiled that we could actually take our time when we needed to release it and save it for the end of the year, and save it for the championship battle. Because oftentimes when you take it to the garage area, you're surrounded by a lot of very intelligent people, and everybody's studying what we were doing. And if we showed up too early with our stuff, everybody around us would have it. So there was this way to manage the environment that he was so good at. And I didn't realize it at the time, but looking back on it, he had many more management skills than I wanted to admit at the time.
What's it like going in? That you knew you and Chad was special?
I would say before we ever lined up for a race, we knew we were onto something. That winter leading into the 02 season, as soon as he signed on the dotted line, like, we were inseparable. We were terrible at golf, but we'd go play golf and have fun and got to know each other. We lived nearby, and late night horseshoes, going out, dinners, having fun, work during the day, in the shop, sun up to sundown, and then in the evenings grab dinner, go somewhere. We had this thing going on, and largely because we were creating a team, we were creating the culture. 48 car didn't exist, and it was just a bunch of young guys that were so deeply connected and having fun with that journey that our relationship, before we ever went racing, we knew we were on something.
What's it like going in with Donnie Allison? What's the interaction been like with him this week, or even before that, history-wise?
It's funny how things work out. Bobby and Davey, I had moments where I was a kid sitting on the couch with my dad watching racing and wondered what it'd be like to race against your father. And then thought the same thing with racing against my brother as Bobby and Donnie did. Got to know Bobby first, and then over time, whenever we were testing at Talladega, Donnie would just show up and wander around. We would just hang out. And kind of that 2000, before that, even kind of in my Xfinity days, anytime we were there, he'd come hang out. And I always got along with him. He'd always give me some pointers. And it's just funny how, when we both talked about that last night when we were getting our blue jacket, he's like, hey man, do you remember standing around the garage area in like 2000 chatting with you? Absolutely.
So did you really get more out of that type of interaction, sort of management walking around as we speak?
On what?
So did you pretty much get a lot out of that, just casual relationships with the drivers? that time?
Yeah, without a doubt. It's funny, I'm now in a position where I'm not at the track week in and week out, and I go to the track and I see folks, and the most casual conversations take place, but you really hang on to those. There's meaning behind it. When you're a full-time Cup driver, it's so busy. Like, you can barely keep a point straight. So those casual interactions have a lot of weight to them.